So right now I have all these objects in one layer, the one single layer. So to make a layer, we click on this and then we make a layer, right? Say if I wanna, let's say, if I wanna move these two triangles onto different layer, onto layer 2, then I could, of course, I can just easily just click and drag, select them, and then move this thing up there. So let me just show you it again. Like let's say, like we don't, let's say if you don't have any objects selected on that layer, then you don't have anything highlighted here. Let's say if you select one of the objects, then it shows something's selected. So what we need to do is bring this up there, just click and drag and up there, and then it'll be on layer 2. Okay, so this is for the video icon is to hide and unhide, and then there's a box that you can lock layer. I think most of you know the locking the layer, but here's the lock button in that case. And say if you want to see this one too. Say if you want to create a another layer, then you have created another layer, and let's say if you want to bring the sun to the third layer, you can do that. Now, so what I saw was, like if you have layer, couple of layers, and if you want to move the layer 3 top of layer 2 for some reason, let's say, you click and drag and then move it up. However, you know how it highlights layer 2? That means it's gonna go into layer 2 rather than going above the layer 2. So you have to drag your layer until the top line of the layer 2 is highlighted with a light blue. So that's your moving. Again, like if I just click and drag into layer 2, then it'll just go into the layer. So what I've seen is like some of the layers inside of the inside of some other layer along with the path. So this isn't really good. Let's say, I don't know if you can easily get it out of. So let's see. Okay, so within this, let's say if this happens, right, then you can simply hit Command Z and then get it out of it. Or let's say if you're inside and you've forgotten about it and now you need to get this thing out, then you can create another layer, let's say here, and then select this one here, just click on it, then it'll select all the objects on that layer, right? And then click this onto the new layer. I think that's probably easiest way to just kind of reorganize. And then you can just delete this thing if you want to. There might be some other way, but this probably is easiest kind of intuitive way. So again, if you want to select objects on single layer, all the objects, then you can just click on this. It'll select everything on that layer. And the layer you can move the layer hierarchy. And let's say you have multiple items. Say I have, let's say, this square, circle, and then this letter T, all in layer 1, right? And let me just hide these. So let's say if I want to just have them in separate layers, then you can go layer options, and then it's either of these options. Let's say if you do just build, then I think it's just build. Okay, so this build is sort of like you are when you need to make animation, so it's building upon the previous. Let's just hide this thing. So it's building. So I believe it's all the objects are in the last frame or last layer. So that's a building. Just Command Z. Okay, so again, like if you have multiple objects, you can do build or sequence. Sequence, I believe it's just all separate layers. So now they're on their own layers, all separated into different layers. So depending on the situation you need, you can choose either release to layers. You have to select the master layer and then select the release to layers, sequence, or build. You can experiment with these two options. Now, another thing that's convenient to know is the paste remember layers, right? So this is, let's say, hang on. So let's say I have another document open, and if I want to copy this, object from layer 2, let me just copy these two from layer 1. I'm gonna Command C, and then Command V. So they're on layer 1. Now, let's say if I want to have these two objects, these two triangles, from layer 2 into this document, I can just Command C and then copy, right? Now, note that it's the same layer. So if you want to use the exact layer that you were using in the previous document, then what you can do is paste remember layers. Now watch the Command V to paste. Now it's a separate layer. Okay. Again, I think, let's say, so if I just copy this thing, right? Even in the same document, it should work. Let's say I copy this, and then I have a layer 4 selected. Then if I have an option, paste remember layers, then it should paste into layer 2. Let me just try that, Command V. Okay, so it follows whatever that was originated from. So it follows the layer 2. So that's a paste remember layers. Okay. Can you guys just take some time, just do layer thing we just went over? First, we created layers, and then select the objects on the layer. We move objects, and then change the hierarchy of the layer, and then we experimented with release to layers, and then lastly we use the paste remember layers.